right, everyone, episode 3 and getting inside my dental head in a car. Anyway, so I was just gonna respond to the comments on my last video. I read it about I spoke about dental princesses, pretty princesses, patients who don't like being told they have any issues. And someone responded, I'll put the comment above here, saying that yeah, but there are also dentists who lie and cheat. And I went to a dentist and they told me it's 4 cavities, and I went to 2 others and they said I don't have any. So that's a good point, and I can see that definitely from your perspective. And it might be true. But here's some food for thought. So we hear that a lot, okay? Like, just in general, you see that a lot on the internet. If you read any dental comments or feedback, or you'll see a lot of that stuff. And that might be true. There might be dentists out there that are really liars and cheats, probably just like any other business, though I would guess less than most businesses. The reason being, I would say less, is because dentists go through a lot to get into school, and the number one complaint people have about dentists lying and cheating is about gum disease and about fillings. And those are probably 2 of the most common procedures. That might be the reason why. As far as the 4 fillings go, okay, so most dentists don't want to do fillings. A lot of dentists, I don't know the percentage, but probably more than not, and it's changing because insurance stinks so much, but more than not, dentists are in network with dental insurances, which means that they take a discounted rate to do their dental restorations, and in turn, supposedly, the insurance company will send you patients. The thing is, dental fillings are some of the least profitable procedures dentists can do. In fact, most dentists, even if they have to get to charge a real fee and not this discounted fee that insurance forces them to take, are losing money if they have to do 1 or 2 fillings. Like, if you're a dentist and you're sitting there and you're doing a checkup on someone and you see they have 1 cavity, you're like, oh, that sucks. You know why it sucks? Because you're doing that cavity for free, okay? And if you're doing insurance, probably 2, you're probably also doing it for free. What do you mean by that? Well, I mean, there's a big overhead in running a dental procedure. Per hour, you have to pay a certain amount between your rent and you're paying your employees and everything to put it together, you're meeting all the supplies and everything. You have an overhead. And fillings, especially if you're getting a discounted fee, you don't make any money. If you do, it's very little. So fillings, someone told you have 4 fillings, they're definitely not doing it to cheat you, because it would be a really dumb cheat, okay? Because, yeah, 4 fillings, if they're fast, they do an hour, yeah, they're probably not losing money. But 1 or 2, almost certainly. Now, there are exceptions. If they're really big fillings, it's going to cost a little bit more. And if they're not in network with your dental insurance, then they're going to charge a fair fee where they're not losing money on it. This is why a lot of dentists are getting out of network and not taking the discounted fees that insurances will make them take, because those fees haven't raised in 30 years. Also, the max amount that dental insurances give patients haven't raised in 30 years. So it's scamming both patients and dentists, because patients, it's ridiculous that they only get covered, the same amount in the 1980s that they get paid now, even though it's just like $1,000 to $2,000 a year, regardless of your problems, on most insurances. And also, dentists are getting paid, to make a profit on it. They're getting paid sometimes 40% or less of what actually it would cost to make a profit on that. Why do they do this? Well, they think it's the only way. They don't have anything that they can stand apart. So a lot of dentists, especially when they're starting out, they're just doing anything they can to get patients in the door. But the inflation's gotten so much, salaries have gone so much, that a lot of times they're not doing it. So, back to the point, are they lying to you about your fillings? No. What's probably happening? I mean, they could be. Like I said, they're assholes anywhere. But what's more likely the case is that he really thought there were cavities, but 2 other dentists disagreed with him. So there are some cavities that are super obvious, like giant holes in the teeth. Probably still don't hurt, because that's another misconception, that you only go to dentist if something hurts, because most cavities don't hurt. Like 99% of them don't hurt until they're really big, and then you probably should have treated them 5+ years ago. But there are a few things. One, like I said, some are obvious, some are not obvious at all. Okay, some, especially people that drink coffee and red wine, they'll have brown spots on all of their teeth, and a lot of them will look like cavities. Now, some dentists, the way we traditionally find cavities by looking at them, looking at the x-rays, but most x-rays don't show cavities unless they're very big. X-rays that don't show the cavities, which are most common, are the ones on the chewing surface and the grooves of the back teeth. And those don't show up on x-rays unless they're really, really big. What x-rays are for is showing cavities that form in between the teeth when you don't floss. And then different x-ray systems will show you kind of a different, some are more detailed than others, some are just more, just show the it's digital, so the software is just a little different, shows it differently than others. Also, you can take two separate x-rays on the same person right in a row, and if the camera and the little sensor in your mouth is held at a slightly different angle, one will show cavity and one won't. So all these things to determine what are cavities are just tools. None of them are exact, like you hit a button and now that's a cavity. So there's definitely a big gray area there, and when some dentists decide what's a cavity and what's not. A device I use is called a Diagnodent, a weird name, but it's basically a little laser you shine on these stains, and it gives a density reading. It tells me if it's soft underneath the stain. So sometimes it'll tell me it's a cavity when I wasn't sure if it was. Other times it'll tell me it's not a cavity when I thought it was, in this gray area of cavities. And these are super important, in my opinion, on people who have those stains on every tooth in their mouth, which is a lot of coffee and red wine drinkers. That being said, most dentists don't use that piece of technology. It's been around, like my patients all think it's cool and new when they see it. I've been using it for almost 20 years. There's other brands also. So there's several versions of things like that. But the reason, in my opinion, a lot of dentists don't use it is they don't want to do more fillings. It's not a good reason, but that's the truth. They don't want to do more fillings because they're not profitable. They'd rather do other procedures. And if they're busy enough, they don't even have time to do that. It's not everyone. Some dentist offices are so busy they can't even fit in the smaller things. So they're kind of triaging and seeing, the bigger problems. That's really not a good way of doing it either, but sometimes some dental offices, especially in small towns, when they're the only dentist, they can't get someone in for months. So they're going to treat the big cavities, or they're going to treat every little small cavity they see. So it's a matter of technology, it's a matter of their training, when they should to decide to do a cavity, it's a matter of their personal opinion when they do a cavity. So yeah, there's a huge gray area there, and patients hate that, and I get it, because they want, they have any medical procedure, especially if they had paid for it, but they want to know 100% that that's what's best for them. And I can tell you, if someone tells you, like especially these pretty princesses, I mentioned the last one, they're in early 20s and don't want to be told anything. If I tell them something different, especially if they've been going to the same childhood dentist for their whole life, their parents go to them, they've been going for 30 years, and I look at their mouth and it's a mess, and I see all these huge problems, and they just been ignored, then they're going to call me a liar and a cheat, and it's super common with this group of people. Now, another thing is, these people who are looking for that, they're going to look for the person who you like the two dentists who told you you didn't have 4 cavities. But what if that guy was right? What if you do have 4 cavities? Okay, I know there's no way of telling, and you got 2 other opinions. That's a good way of doing it, right? So you can make your own call on your own body. But the only reason you like him is because they told you something less, okay? But it wasn't necessarily because he was a liar and cheat. Maybe he's a better dentist and he has better technology, or maybe he just, maybe he is a little bit more aggressive, or the other guys are way too aggressive, right? It's going to be a bell curve. There's going to be people who are way too aggressive, people who are kind of middle, they'll do this, not do that, and they'll have people that are super conservative, that we're going to wait and see how it goes forever, and then it's just getting bigger. So there's a lot behind that. So that happens all the time. The same thing happens with gum disease all the time. Because gum disease never hurts. You have no pain from gum disease your whole life until you lose your teeth from gum disease. And even then, it doesn't hurt. So it's a silent killer. It's inflammation. It's related to heart disease, diabetes. And by the age of 30, 50% of our population has gum disease. If you have bleeding gums when you floss or brush, you have gum disease. And people hate being told that, because if they do have dental insurance, they want their free insurance, their Pro-Fee, which is a free cleaning. And that's only considered free if you have healthy gums. And it takes like 20 minutes to clean your teeth. Your appointment's an hour. By the time I sit down and educate you, really healthy mouth should only take 20, 30 minutes on average. They're faster and slower hygienists, but But if you have gum infection, if you have gum disease, you need what we call gum infection therapy. Some people call it deep cleaning or scaling and root planing. And all of a sudden, your free cleaning, it's going to take you 2 appointments. You're not getting a cleaning that day, and it's going to cost you like $1,500. And it didn't hurt, and you didn't know you needed it. And the dentist you've been going to for the past 5 years never mentioned to you. Bleeding gums, that's fine. That's always happened to me. That's just what mine do. It happens to me. So that happens all the time. And people think the person who's telling them they have the gum disease is trying to cheat them. And that can happen too. In fact, it does happen. I've seen that more often, especially with corporate offices, where they don't look at the whole person. They might just look at just a number, meaning we check your gums as numbers, but it goes more into it than that. So yeah, I don't have a good answer for you. You're right in your thoughts on some of that, but there's also another perspective on why some dentists may tell you something and another dentist tells you the opposite. So what I always tell people, find somebody you trust. That's all you can do. I mean, get recommendations from other people that have been going to this dentist and they've had good results. Get recommendations. You don't have people around your neighborhood that then get recommendations from online or something like that. But don't go to the cheapest guy who's closest to you. That's what I would tell you. Don't go there just because you can see them, because there's a huge, large difference in skills and just what people do, and it depends what you're looking for. There are people that just want to be told they're fine and don't have any problems and come and pull a tooth when something hurts, and that's fine too. It's really up to you, but usually not because they're cheating them, but maybe there are cheats out there, I'm sure too. All right, that's my dental thoughts in my head for today. Thanks for the comment. And that went on for a while. I got an audiobook I wanted to listen to before I got to work, and now I'm at the end of the book. It's so good, but I did this instead. All right, thanks. Bye.